morning, race fans, and welcome back to the Metro Ford Cup Series at the Old Bastards Racing League. Today, we're at the virtual Darlington Raceway, the Lady in Black, 1.3 miles, and a whole lot of laps for our competitors to click off. As always, my name's James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as drivers currently out there for qualifying, trying to see who's fast out there right now. Looks like Brian Lindsay's taken to the track. And let's see what Lindsay's going to be able to do here today. Thank you for everybody, as always, tune in. We've got Mason joining us as well, watching qualifying on Mother's Day morning. Right now, though, it's Eddie Cajun Jones sitting on top of pole with a 29.97. 13 drivers have put down times thus far. As Lindsay clicks off a 30.4, that's good enough. It's going to be good enough for 7th. Let's check in on Dwayne MacArthur, the fast Canadian, the 83 machine. Now keep an eye out, though. A large portion of these drivers will wait for late in qualifying before they go out, looking for a little bit of cloud cover, trying to squeeze down those lap times as short as possible. And let's see what MacArthur is going to do on his opening lap. I'm curious to see, is this going to be a 2-lap qualifying for most of these drivers, or are they going to settle for one fast lap then bring it down? MacArthur's opening lap is a 30.38, just about 4/10 off of Eddie Jones sitting on pole. So let's see what MacArthur can do for his second flying lap. I believe MacArthur has yet again another new sponsor, but that qualifying not going to be how he wants, tagging the wall. And it looks like he's going to have a rough showing here in qualifying, having to stick in 8th place as that lap is invalidated with the contact with our outside wall. Andrew Hess rolling out in the number 54 machine. MacArthur running a Bass Pro Shop throwback paint scheme here tonight, the Brown Derby. Expecting to see some other unique paint schemes out on track for Throwback Week. Let's see what Hess can do with that first timed lap, moving way up the standings into 10th. Jones still on top, but you got some fast guys like Hess, Oval. Robinson getting ready to roll out for his qualifying run. Now, going to be very interesting here tonight. Tire wear has been pretty tough on the drivers in practice, and some guys trying some different things. We've even seen some downshifts out there tonight, as Hess clicks off a 30.05, moving his number 54 Chevrolet up into 2nd in qualifying. And let's check in on Chris Walsh in the 63 machine, making his way out. Oh, and that'll be a quick qualifying as he tags the wall. He will not have the run he's looking for. Josh Robinson also out on track, running the throwback number 23 Valvoline. But look, the number 23 does have damage on the right side. Falling victim to the race stripes here at Darlington. Now, I saw Robinson go back to pit road early on in qualifying, so I'm wondering if that was maybe on his out lap he had those issues. But he's going to have one more shot to do it in the 23 machine. He's been the most pole-setting driver of the season. Be his last shot to put down a good run. Where will Robinson land on the standings? Moving up to 6, so not having the run he was looking for. And that is pretty much going to do it for qualifying. I see Bruce Pearson in his pit stall, but not out on track. Only a couple of double-digit drivers who won't be qualifying. That's going to be Chris Clark, Jeff Miller, the triple-digit numbers. Well, let's get ready to go racing here at Darlington. Starting on pole, Eddie Jones, the number 14 machine. Andrew Hess starting second. Grace Brown starting third. Dan Hill starting fourth. John Hinchcliffe fifth on the grid. Josh Robinson starting sixth. Steve the Mule Thompson starting seventh. Michael Watt starting 8th, Patrick Milligan starting 9th, Kevin Strandberg starting 10th. We've got Dwayne MacArthur starting 11th, Brian Lindsay starting 12th. Cycling back to Lee Warsdale starting 13th, Tom Ogle starting 14th, Greg McDaniel starting 15th, Larry Corey starting 16th, Joey Buscemi starts 17th, Robert Garisco 18th on the grid, Ken Huff starting 19th, Mike Schrader starting 20th, Lloyd Moore starting 21st, Bruce Pearson 22nd, Chris Walsh starting 23rd. Chris Clark starting 24th. And we've got Dean Gear and Jeff Miller rounding out the 26-car grid here tonight. And let's get ready to send them off. They've got 160 laps to make it happen. Now let's get ready as drivers making their way out. It's Hess and Jones on the front row. Brown and Hill, your second row. Hinchcliffe and Robinson, your third row. Gonna be interesting. I'm not sure what to expect tonight. We saw a lot of drivers sending it around in practice. And we even saw some fast guys tagging those walls during qualifying. So Darlington going to be a tough one, a deceivingly wide raceway. As the pace car gets ready to come down pit road. Jones is gonna set the pace for the field. And it is time to go racing. Barney, our flag is putting in work. Jones with a great launch quickly slides up in front of Hess. Away we go. No big movers so far inside the top 6. Everybody hopping in single file. A little bit further back in the field, you've got drivers like Chris Walsh making moves in the 63 machine, up 6 spots so far. Now we did have a few drivers with EOLs coming into tonight's main event, finding themselves above the minimum incident limit. As Joey Buscemi, one of those drivers, he's going to have to come in for a stop and go, excuse me, a drive-through penalty. It will be an uphill battle for the 56 tonight. Now that I've predicted that this is going to be an interesting race and expecting a little bit of carnage, I'm sure this will be the race that goes green all the way through. As we watch Hess putting the pressure on Jones for the race lead. And it looks like he will slot down that number 14 machine back into second. Hess picking up a spot early on. But for the most part, looks like the driver's fairly happy running single file here. Dan Hill making a move over Trace Brown, the number 10 MXPX. No, it's the U.S. Air Force machine tonight with the throwback paints. So Hill moving up one more spot. Hess, your current race leader, only has one podium to his name so far. That was way, way back, February 20th, Daytona, the season opener. He brought home a second place finish, so Hess gonna put his head down, see what he can do in the 54 machine. He's been very, very quick, but sometimes it looks like he gets kind of tied up in incidents that may not be his fault, or at least puts himself in a dangerous position. And he's gonna, at the very least, get some laps led. He won one single lap last week at Dover. And he led 9 laps at Atlanta back in late March. So Hess in the 54 trying to make something happen. A little bit further back, looks like Jones has his company from Dan Hill and John Hinchcliffe that have been slowly moving up the standings here. Ooh, look at that. Hill took a peek at the inside line of Jones. Jones says, you guys can have that, go burn up your tires, I'll sit around here still inside the top 5, taking it easy and planning on a long run. Now fuel window is going to be about lap 68 to 75 for these drivers before they absolutely have to come down pit road. That could definitely change depending on the drivers, what their strategy is going to be, especially here from some of the drivers that a few guys grabbing some downshifts here at Darlington. As for the most part, the field seems very patient here today. Andrew Hess has about a quarter of a second gap over Dan Hill. Hill in that number 10 machine is our current leader for the Rookie of the Year points challenge. Hill has 304 points to his name following the last week's event at Dover. Kevin Stramberg second in points for Rookie of the Year, and John Hinchcliffe third in points. And speaking of points, our current leaders for the most part of Dwayne MacArthur and Josh Robinson first and second in the points. MacArthur all the way back into 9th. Robinson currently running 6th. But Eddie Jones in a good spot here running 3rd in the number 14 machine. He's 3rd in points. But most importantly, finding himself ahead of Robinson and MacArthur. If he can just latch on behind Hill and Hess, keep the tires underneath them. The further back Robinson and MacArthur find themselves historically, the more apt you are to be in the danger zone here. Andrew Hess, your current race leader, he is 5th in the points. 154 points back from MacArthur though. But Hess going to try and score all the bonus points that he can possibly grab. Because these drivers do get a bonus point for finishing the race, leading 1 or more laps. Finishing 5 bonus points if you can finish this thing with 0 incidents. There's some definite bonus points to be grabbed. And every incident you find yourself involved in, every incident point, you get docked 1 point on the driver penalties list. We still have a very long season left to go, but already these drivers are formulating what their plans are going to be to make it all the way out till the end. Right now, this is round 12 out of 37 Metro Ford Cup Series. As it looks like Hill, the Rookie of the Year, current points leader, trying to put some pressure on Hess, but gets a little bit of loose there coming out of 4. Gonna have to build up that momentum once more. Darlington, a deceptively flat track if you get off that high line. And it looks like a very wide raceway, but realistically, there's only about a lane and a half that drivers gonna really want to find themselves kind of locked into. But Hill gonna try it again. Look at him taking a peek to the inside line. Will he have the drive into 1 and 2? It looks like he will. As Hess checks up a little bit, Hinchcliffe almost tags the back of the 54's bumper as well. As the more Hill and Hess were battling, the more it slows down the pace for all these drivers. That's about the top 11 drivers running single file, 17 laps in. But already lap time starting to fall off by, let's call it a half second to about 0.6 of a second. We're seeing the pace drop off with the tire wear. Now it looks like Hinchcliffe's turn. He's going to take a peek at the Hess number 54 machine. Up front, Dan Hill, though. I don't think he's worried about tire savings or fuel savings. He's stretched the gap to just about 0.8 over Hess, who has a massive line behind him. As Jones and Hinchcliffe battle for third. Number 14 machine going to start showing his long run pace here, I think. Oh, somebody gets a little bit loose. I think that's Hinchcliffe, the number 50 machine. Dropping back to 6. It looks like Michael Watt's going to try and get around him as well. In gear comes down pit road on lap 21. Not sure if he's got problems or what the issue may be. Checking in on gear. Making his way to the stall, but something. He's taking tires. Very odd to see Hill there. As Hill has a little bit of traffic to contend with, I believe that's going to be Joey Buscemi going a lap down, but we've got something going on track. Lloyd Moore, Joey involved in an incident, pointing the wrong way at the start-finish line straight. No caution. Let's see what happened to the 26. I'm astounded the caution did not come out here as he's waiting to safely get it turned around, but I think he's technically off the raceway. Is he going to take a tow? As he's very hesitant to get that thing turned around. Mind the wall there, Lloyd. As we watch with bated breath to see if the caution is going to come out for the 26 machine. Doesn't look like it's going to come out, so he's going to get it fired up. Pointed back in the right direction and rejoin the raceway, but let's see what happened to Lloyd. Oh, a little bit of contact, just barely bounced off Garisco, I think. I think that was Garisco. Yes, it was Garisco, pilot number 28 Ford Mustang. What an odd incident with the caution not coming out, so Lloyd Moore's race will most likely be over as Dan Hill seems to be checking out. He's a 1.5 seconds up over Andrew Hess in the 54 machine. But to give Moore his credit, still out there, hasn't come down pit road. Dean Gear returns to the raceway. He spent about 1.5 minutes in his pit stall, maybe getting some damage fixed on that thing. Planning for the long run here tonight, and we've already whittled it down to 22 drivers on the lead lap. We're about to make that list a little bit shorter, I think. As Hill continues charging in the number 10. One of those drivers I had the pleasure of starting to call his races when he was a triple-digit rookie here at the Metro Ford Cup Series, and really coming into his own as the seasons progress. He gets more laps underneath him. I think he may be one of those drivers that we start talking about more and more the longer he runs here. Especially as Hill starts to get his consistency dialed in. I think that might be the biggest thing for him. When he finishes well, usually inside the top 5, top 10. But out of 11 starts he's had so far, 3 of which have been DNFs. Again, I think once that number 10 machine gets the consistency dialed in, he's going to be a driver to watch out for each and every week here at the Metro Ford Cup Series. And speaking of Metro Ford, check out our title sponsor, emetroford.com. New or used vehicles, they will get you financed. And they have always done a great job to take care of the league, take care of our drivers. So check them out, support those that support us, emetroford.com. Hess number 54 machine has Eddie Jones linked up right behind him. Josh Robinson's slowly been making his way up here, now inside the top 5, running fourth, number 23 Ford Mustang. As so far we've got 30 laps knocked off clean and fast from our drivers. Race, or I should say this morning's race, scheduled to run about an hour and 20 to an hour and 30 minutes, depending on cautions and pit stops. As it looks like Hess pulling a little bit of a gap. Was that Dan Hill getting all sorts of loose in the number 10? I think it was. Hill. I'm not sure if he's had this much experience cutting through traffic. That's Garisco just ahead of him in the throwback Crisco paint scheme. As we got a little bit of action going on further back in the field, it's going to be the battle for 7th. MacArthur and Oval have both worked their way around Trace Brown, the 45. These are two drivers that have really shown they've got what it takes with long run speed, and when they link up, it's usually pretty dangerous for the other drivers as far as pace goes, able to quickly work through the field. MacArthur trying to link up with his teammate, Steve the Mule Thompson, number 67 Toyota. As the field fairly stretched out, you've got this little bit of a tight gap between MacArthur and Oval linked up nose to tail. What exactly sponsor that Oval is running tonight in the throwback paint scheme. I think that said Claw Girl. Clawy Girl. Maybe the predecessor to the White Claw, I'm not entirely sure, but now MacArthur, Ogle, oh, the field's kind of stacking up here. Oh, who was that? I think that was Ogle into the wall at the number 11. Not seeing too much damage. But that's going to allow MacArthur and Thompson, two teammates, to have a bit of a breakaway. And they're also linking up with Michael Watts in the 84 Ford. And up front, let's pan up real quickly. Robinson's made the move for second at the number 23. Slicing and dicing through traffic. There's Dan Hill, 1.3 seconds ahead. Hinchcliffe's taking a tow back to pit road. He's got some sort of issue as Chris Clark comes down for a green flag stop. But I think we're at the point of the run, ladies and gentlemen, with the tire wear really going to show who's got the pace as Robinson rapidly closing the gap to Hill in the number 10 machine. There's Hill in the number 10. There's Robinson in the 23. He's already gained about a half second that last time by. And Robinson in a good spot as well. He's got a second advantage over Andrew Hess in the 54. Here comes Robinson charging up towards the front. We did get the report that Larry Corey, the number 17 machine, has retired from the event. He will no longer be making his way back out. I believe Hinchcliffe as well has sent it back to the virtual hauler. And this is the battle for the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Dan Hill, Josh Robinson separated by a quarter of a second. Hill has led just about all the laps so far here tonight. But Robinson coming into his own late in the season. He was the most winningest driver last year for the 2021 Metro Ford Cup Series. Having a slow start this season, but starting to pick it up here as we keep clicking off races. And here we go. Robinson looks up to the inside line. Hill goes wide to help facilitate the pass. And Robinson's going to make it 5 positions gained so far as he gets out front. And Robinson showing no sign of slowing down or backing off the pace. He is going here. As it looks like Andrew Hess, Eddie Jones starting to close the gap as well up inside the battle for the lead. Now, not too worried about our top 5 drivers having the incidents, but late into the run, the car is going to be extremely tight. That's what's going to kind of want to push up towards that outside wall. And the more drivers wrench the wheel to the left to hold it down, the tougher it'll get, the more the tires will get ate up, and the more likely we'll see a late run crash or incident tagging that outside wall. Robinson, second in points, leading tonight's race. MacArthur, your points leader, finds himself back into 6th. Now, he's also up 5 spots after having a rough go in qualifying. But it's going to be tough if we stay green for MacArthur to get his way up in the lead. He's about 7 seconds back from your race leader. Andrew Hess is going to put the pressure back on Dan Hill to try and retake that second place spot he originally qualified in. Jeff Miller comes down pit road for a green flag stop in the 108 Ford Mustang. Looks like Hess makes the pass nice and easy for second, but he's going to be 1.6 seconds back from Robinson, your race leader. Hill showed pace early on, but will he have the tire wear management to keep things going? As Hess was about a half second faster that last time by. But even Hess was 0.3 off of Robinson, who's showing no sign of slowing down. The field very stretched out here. The closest gap I see is Patrick Milligan And the number 18 M&M's Ford Mustang getting ready to try and make a move on Trace Brown's 45. Milligan, who's been running a limited season, every time he comes out, he shows excellent long run pace and tire management. And this is the part where you're going to see those drivers really start to smooth on by the guys who cooked those tires a little bit early on, as Milligan makes the pass nice and easy. But back up, talking about tire management, Hill having his hands full is now Eddie Jones, the number 14 machine, right behind him. And this will be the battle for third. Lee Warsdale down pit road, Dean Gear down the pits as well. I wonder if Warsdale may be triggering our pit entry lights. No, he's definitely in pit road. Every now and then the drivers will cut down low to avoid the race leaders, and it can sometimes trigger the lights. But now MacArthur and Watts also down pit road, so MacArthur trying something different with a bit of an undercut. As Jones makes a clean pass for third. Josh Robinson, your race leader, coming down on lap 53. Hess opts to stay out. Robinson, Hill, Ogle, all down pit road. Hess, Jones, Thompson, your new top three, staying out a little while longer here. I love me some green flag pit stops. Drivers showing what they can do behind the wheel as far as the strategy as well of bringing home prestigious wins at the Metro Ford Cup Series. Jones comes down pit road on lap 55. Steve Thompson's going to follow suit. Strandberg, really just about everybody's come down pit road except for Hess, Brown, McDaniel, Walsh. Well, now Walsh comes down pit road, and we're waiting to see if Schrader, the number 4 machine, enters. When will we see Andrew Hess in the 54 machine dive down pit road for his green flag stop? As it is 4 drivers on the lead lap and 4 drivers who have yet to come down pit road. As we pull up the live timing tower on the left side of your screen to see where your favorite driver is as these green flag stops work themselves out. Brown and McDaniel now down in pit road. If I stand corrected, it's just Hess, Schrader, and Garisco. We're going to stretch these runs out to the limit, but as I say that, we see somebody swapping across. That's going to be Lloyd Moore. Will we see the caution fly as he's parked in a dangerous spot here? Backing out of the race line. Waiting for a safe time to get it fired up. He takes a tow. So no caution again, but that's the second big moment. Look at him getting loose out of 4. Oh, poor Hess had quite a view there. But well done to Lloyd Moore as well. Keeping it off the wall, keeping it on the apron, and no caution. I think once Andrew Hess, your race leader in the 54 machine, saw that, he's like, all right, we got to stay out. We might see the caution. Bruce Pearson, Joey Buscemi down pit road. Hess and Schrader continuing to stay out on those original set of tires. They may be thinking a caution is imminent as drivers coming out on track with fresh rubber underneath them, a much looser and freer race car. A little bit more likely to send it sliding around on cold tires. Hess and Schrader clicking them off, not showing any signs they want to come down pit road. Hess currently 30 seconds up over his second place counterpart, Mike Schrader, the number 4 Mustang. And carrying fairly good pace out of the 54 machine, but it looks like he's signaling he's coming down pit road. As he opts to come in on lap 60. Let's see if Schrader follows suit of number 4. I believe as the green flag stops finish up, that's going to put Robinson as your race leader in the 23. So Schrader looking like he's going to get a lap led here in that number 4 Ford Mustang, sponsored by Busch Light. Busch, as the back left corner panel reads. Hess will come back out on track, I believe, 5th. We've got some drivers setting off some fast lap times. Trace Brown with a 30.23 has the fastest lap of the race after his green flag stop. Schrader just enjoying the limelight here, clicking it off, making it look easy. He's about 10 and a quarter seconds up over Josh Robinson. Robinson has Dan Hill linked up behind him. As more and more drivers start to get their laps back here at Darlington. Schrader has been on track for 62 laps and counting. As things get a little bit more exciting behind Robinson, he's got Dan Hill and Eddie Jones linked up nose to tail, and now everybody's on relatively the same tire strategy after their lap anywhere between 52 to 54 pit stop. Again, this will be the battle for the lead because we know Schrader needs to come down pit road the next 10 laps or so, or he'll run out of fuel. Second pack of drivers, Robinson, Hill, Jones, are gaining about a second per lap to Mike Schrader. Keep an eye out for Dwayne MacArthur as well in 5th. He's starting to catch up to his teammate Eddie Jones running 4th. As somebody gets a little bit loose in front of Robinson. And turn 4 starting to eat up a few drivers. Robinson's closed the gap to Schrader to now 6.5 seconds. As we are focused on Robinson, number 23 machine, who we believe will be the race leader as soon as Schrader comes down pit road. Robinson may be able to catch up to Schrader just on track here, as he's got a tiny little train built up behind him with Hill, Jones, and now MacArthur all in the mix. So expecting these drivers to make their final pit stops around between lap 90 and 110 will be their final stops, I believe. That way they've got the freshest tires underneath them to bring it home. I will be impressed and amazed if these drivers can bring home 160 laps under green flag conditions. We've seen a couple of close calls, but so far it's been green flag racing. Now it's only 4 seconds between Robinson and friends to your race leader Schrader, who is, again, still out on that original set of Goodyears. Schrader clicked off a 32.14 his last time by. Robinson, everybody behind him, low 30.9. MacArthur even clicked off a 30.64 tucked in the draft here. So this could very soon be a 5-car showdown for the lead, as we wait for Schrader to have his first green flag stop. Look at that, Hess in the 54 machine starting to catch up to the tail end of this pack as well. So another driver who will be joining the fray. But there will be a lot of traffic to contend with here. Out of the corner of the eye, you can see the top left. That's Schrader in the Busch Light machine. Behind him, a freight train is built up. Robinson, Hill, MacArthur, Jones, Hess, running second through sixth. And now less than a second before we're going to see quite a party up for the lead. And look at the damage on the side of Robinson's 23 machine. And he's closing the gap with a blistering pace here. Here we go, the battle for the lead. Robinson, Schrader, side by side. Robinson looks down low. Dan Hill's going to follow suit, as well as MacArthur. Schrader in the mix. Eddie Jones looking for a way around. Jones, I think, gets tied behind. Yeah, gets tied behind Schrader. Finally gets his way through. And Robinson retakes the race lead on lap 72. Not quite to the halfway mark here tonight. And we're already seeing some big moves. This is the tightest the top five has been in quite a while. As it looked like MacArthur taking a shot at Dan Hill. Able to make it happen. Andrew Hess going to try and follow on the inside line. Jones, the wily veteran, watching to see what these guys are going to do ahead of them. Knowing the more they're taking jabs at each other, the more tires these guys are using up. We're down to just 13 drivers on the lead lap. And 4 of which have sent it back to the hauler early. Lee Warsdale, Dean Gear, John Hinchcliffe, Larry Corey out for the evening. Nice tight pack, little bit over a second separating the top 5 here. Schrader finally comes down pit road on lap 75 for his one and only, or his first stop so far. So now we know just how far some of these drivers can stretch it on fuel if they need to. But unfortunately for Schrader, if he's trying to go for a one-stop night, I think he's going to be just 10 laps short. Barring any cautions. At that point, if you see the yellow flag, it's safe to assume just about everybody's going to take tires. As your top 3, Robinson, MacArthur, Hess, have built up a little bit of a gap over Hill and Jones. I saw, yes, a Robert Garisco going way down low. Not sure if he's coming down pit road. Yes, he is for his first stop on lap 77. So now we know what the strategy is for a lot of the drivers. Hess inside the top 5, the only driver that came in on lap 60. He's going to have pretty fresh rubber underneath him. As Robinson, MacArthur, Jones, Hill all came in around the lap 52 to 53 mark. I'm thinking lap 110 is going to be the magic number for these competitors before we see everybody come down pit road, barring any yellow flag shenanigans. I'm curious to see if the drivers maybe fight the car a little bit more with dirty airs. Here comes MacArthur looking to the inside line of Robinson. Into 1 and 2, hits with a bit of a slide job. MacArthur takes over the race lead, up 10 positions. And he will get his first lap led here at the halfway mark. Looks like Robinson has a moment in the number 23 machine. That's going to allow Hess, Jones, and Hill to take over as Robinson slots back into 5th. So just like that, the top 5 rapidly changing as MacArthur crosses the line at the halfway mark. And that is his very first lap of the lead here tonight. What's the strategy going to be out of the 83 machine, up 10 spots? He's got a lot of fast guys tucked in behind him. You can try and get on it quickly and leave them behind, or maybe play a bit of a strategy game here, linked up with Hess. Top 5 getting a little bit more spread out. Now it's about a second and a half separating first place from MacArthur and 5th place Josh Robinson. But Robinson's still linked up with Dan Hill, so he's not losing the draft here too much. He can pull himself up if he wants. But MacArthur, for the first time tonight, will be that lead car having to cut through traffic. We are past the halfway mark, and not expecting to see these drivers come down pit road for just shy of another 30 laps or so. We do have only 11 drivers on the lead lap. Ooh, things getting a little bit dicey there. As Hess taking a shot at MacArthur. Having to check up, almost tagging the side of the 83 machine, the battle for the lead. So Hess saying there will be no tire saving from you, sir. We got to keep this pace going. You can see the other drivers knowing there's a frantic battle for the lead going on, hopping down out of the way as quickly as they possibly can. As it looks like Hess trying to take another shot out of it here. Not quite able to get the drive through 3 and 4, so it'll still be MacArthur at the line. Chris Clark, Robert Garisco back down pit road. Hess seems intent on keeping the pressure on MacArthur. MacArthur not changing his line at all, though. Knowing the more time he spends battling with Andrew Hess, the more time it's going to allow Eddie Jones in third to join the fray. But MacArthur's got to be a little bit thankful that he knows Dan Hill, Josh Robinson a full second back from this bit of a tango he's got going on with Andrew Hess. Now we know Hess has short run pace. He qualified second. But keep an eye out on Eddie Jones as well, the 14 machine, our pole setter tonight. MacArthur starts to pull just the smallest bit of gap over Hess. But Hess must have heard what I was saying, not have anything of it. Sending it back down the inside line of MacArthur. They've got traffic ahead with Robert Garisco. And the more Hess takes those shots at MacArthur, the quicker Eddie Jones has been able to rejoin this fray as well, right behind Hess in the 54. I'm surprised as well. Hill and Robinson haven't gained as much ground as I thought they would, as this top three continues to duke it out. There's a whole lot of traffic ahead of your race leaders. As you can see, most drivers getting single file, taking an each. I saw Tom Ogle maybe taking a peek at Steve Thompson as well in the battle for sixth. A little bit further back out on track, but I'm intrigued how this battle for the lead is going to shape up. Hess shows he wants the lead, not willing to settle for second, at least during the fuel run. Dan Hill, number 10, comes down pit road for what could be his final planned stop of the evening. Now at this point, the top three have pulled a massive gap over Rob's number 23 machine. They're about 2.3 seconds ahead of Robinson. Robinson was using the draft of Hill, but Hill came down pit road for quite an undercut. That's going to put Robinson having to work with traffic to pull his way back up to the race leaders if he's going to do so under green flag conditions. More drivers going low, allowing the race leaders by. Excellent to see. MacArthur and Hess have pulled about a half-second gap over Jones. I'm not sure if Jones wasn't able to facilitate the pass to traffic quite as cleanly, or maybe feeling the effects of the tire wear just a bit more. But he does not want to lose the draft of Andrew Hess's number 54 machine and find himself in the drafty no man's land. Once again, drivers hopping out of the way. Here comes MacArthur and Hess linked up nose to tail. Lost the start finish into 1 and 2. As much as I am a Dwayne MacArthur fan, it would be amazing to see Andrew Hess pick up a win here, as he's still looking for that elusive first win of the season. Now, last season in 2021, we saw that number 54 machine pick up 4 different wins. But it's been all the way back since June 6th at Sonoma that Andrew Hess has been able to make that happen. So he's going to fight hard. As you can see, the back end getting a little bit dancy there as he looks up to the inside line of MacArthur going into 1 and 2. And just like that, Hess has retaken the race lead from the fast Canadian Dwayne MacArthur. Now, MacArthur does have his good friend and teammate Eddie Jones linked up right behind him. May see a little bit of teamwork coming to play here. Now again, we're expecting these drivers to come in down pit road for their final stop anywhere between lap 100 and 110. I think Hess may be planning for an early stop as he is absolutely blistering here, pulling a half-second gap over MacArthur. So he may be talking to his crew chief and spotter saying, all right, if you only got 10 laps left to go, let's use up all the rubber here. Got something else interesting happening on track. Steve Thompson, Tom Ogle, linked up, two long-time competitors, two different teams. Thompson with Last Ditch Racing, Ogle with Team Miata. Always a fun time when these two get linked up either on or off the track. Will be for the battle for fourth. Thompson fourth, Ogle fifth. Thompson, another driver, hasn't run a full season, but whenever he's able to come out, always clicking off some fast laps. But if there were ever two drivers you'd expect to see using some bumpers late in a race, it would be these two. As up front, Andrew Hess has built up a 3/4, called an 8/10 gap over MacArthur. MacArthur, not sure what happened here. No, that's a 4/10 gap over Eddie Jones. Jones has about a 4.5-second gap over Steve Thompson. We got Robert Hill Jr. joined us here in the chat. He's cheering on Andrew Hess, your current race leader in the 54 machine. Good time to join as Hess showing some great pace here in the late part of the fuel stop. And this could have been part of Hess's strategy to come in on lap 60, about 8 laps later than most of his competition. So that may mean it's a big may here. You may see MacArthur and Jones come down together around that lap 110 mark. Hess should be able to comfortably stretch it out to about lap 120 before his final stop of the night. And only 40 laps left to go at that point. He should be able to really set some fast and consistent lap times. And it's, again, ladies and gentlemen, it's not necessarily who can go out and do the fastest lap of the race, but who can keep those average lap times the lowest over the duration of a run. Michael Watts, the 84 machine, down pit road. Steve Thompson down pit road for his final planned stop of the evening. As we check back in on Hess, he's got traffic to contend with, but he's going to use that draft if given the opportunities. Behind him, Jones and MacArthur going side by side. Ooh, Hess tagging the wall ever so slightly. I wonder if that dirty air off of traffic made it a little bit tougher for him. Tom Ogle down pit road in the number 11 Ford. Hess has a half-second advantage over Jones. Jones seems to be closing the gap. Not sure if that's based on pace or Hess having his hands just so full with traffic. McDaniel in the number 30 Chevrolet comes down pit road. Again, in theory, Hess should be able to stretch out his fuel run a little bit longer than Jones and MacArthur behind him. As I say that, Hess comes down pit road or signals to on lap 106. Comes in a little bit hot. MacArthur is going to follow him. Oh, this is going to be a shootout coming out of pit road. So Jones opts to stay out. The number 14 Chevrolet with Last Ditch Racing. As Hess and MacArthur were nose to tail into pit road. Patrick Milligan, Trace Brown also down for their final stop of the night. Jones comes down pit road. Will we see Robinson follow suit? As we've got something going on, Steve Thompson involved in an incident, takes the tow back to pit road, so no caution. Let's see what happens with the 67. The same old story, getting loose out of 4. And unfortunately, Thompson will be done and out of this one, so Robinson will get some more laps left, the number 23 machine, but how's this going to pan out on strategy? Hill moves up to second. He hasn't been down pit road since lap 90, really stretching it out here. I'm wondering if Hill's going to come down pit road. He may be trying to make this an off-strategy race. He went for that undercut, I would believe, on lap 90. That's good enough, I believe, to make it all the way to the end. Because we saw some drivers really stretch it out on their fuel run. As it stands, 2 drivers on the lead lap. Josh Robinson, Dan Hill. We know Robinson's going to have to come down pit road one time. We think his fuel window is going to close on lap 120. What is Robinson going to try here? Now, we were talking about Hess and MacArthur, who came down pit road together. Hess was about 0.6 faster in his pit stall than MacArthur. MacArthur will find himself about 3/4 of a second behind Hess, but he's also got his teammate Jones behind him, and MacArthur just clicked off the fastest lap of the race, a 30.21. He's got the fresh tires underneath him. He's feeling good. I think we're going to see some very interesting racing as the laps progress. We've clicked off 111 without the caution coming out so far. If we're going to see it, it's going to be right here at the tail end, I think. As it's a busy racetrack, MacArthur again with the fastest lap, a 30.15. Robinson looks like he gets a little bit loose there out of 4. Slots in behind Jones, who's getting his lap back. Wonder what the strategy is going to be from Robinson here. How late he's going to stretch it out, or is he just praying for a late race caution? This green flag stop, I think that's going to put him a lap down from Hill, MacArthur, Hess, and Jones. We've got 45 laps left here. Currently 5 drivers on the lead lap. Robinson continuously charging forward after a lap 53 pit stop. He's using up all the fuel. Meanwhile, it looks like MacArthur and Hess starting to catch back up to Dan Hill, the number 10 machine, who's trying something a little bit off kilter as far as strategy to bring home a podium spot. As there's Hess in the 54 behind, I believe that's what we just saw. No, that's Tom Ogle on the number 11 machine trying to get a lap back. Well, let's go a little bit further back. There's Dan Hill on the number 10, who went for a massive undercut on lap 90 to try and bring it home to the end, but he's looking and talking to his crew chief, knowing MacArthur, Hess, and Jones are just under 4 seconds back after their lap 106 pit stop. 16 laps difference. That's going to be a whole lot of tire saving for Hill to try and pull off to get a win, a much lesser, excuse me, get a podium, much less a win. MacArthur has a bit of a breakaway as Hess and Jones are duking it out for the current 4th place spot. We think this could be for a podium position as we're still waiting for Robinson, your race leader, to come down pit road for his final time. It's a busy raceway, a lot of traffic for drivers to try and wiggle on through here. Top speed tonight around 175 miles an hour. Kevin Strandberg in the 58 comes down pit road for his final stop of the evening. 40 laps left to go. Jones still holding about a 3/10 disadvantage to Hess's 54. As it looks like they're starting to reel in MacArthur ever so slightly, now down to about 9/10 of a second to the Canadian running 3rd. And down to 8/10. Let's see what's happened there. I think MacArthur, I was expecting to see him involved in a whole lot of traffic. I wonder if he's backing off the pace to maybe get some draft support. Realizing you're just kind of, I don't want to say wasting time, but not making the ground you could when you're out there hot lapping by yourself. MacArthur's running about 6/10 faster than Hill that last time by. Now just 2 seconds separating the 2nd place number 10 machine to the 3rd place 83. We briefly saw Dan Hill. He should be coming up in the top left, top right. Wait for the camera to pick him up. There you go, top left section of your screen. That was very briefly Dan Hill. But traffic behind him, and now Robinson, your race leader, comes down pit road on lap 123, his final stop of the night. How is this going to shape up here? Where will Robinson rejoin the raceway? Because he will have the freshest tires, but will he have the track position to do anything with it? That's going to put Dan Hill as your race leader in the number 10 machine. MacArthur moves up to 2nd. Hess now 3rd. Jones 4th. And it's going to be Tom Ogle will be running 5th. Bruce Pearson, Joey Buscemi coming down pit road. I think Hill looking pretty good here with that early lap 90 pit stop. But unfortunately, the drivers behind him with 15, 20 lap newer tires are going to very quickly throw a wrench into that strategy. As here we go, it's about to be the battle for the lead. There's Dan Hill, the number 10 machine. MacArthur right behind him, less than 3/4 of a second. Separating the top four. But look at the traffic ahead of your race leaders. As we're going to go side by side, too deep. And Hess has other plans. He's going to slot up alongside MacArthur. Try and take over the second place spot. Robinson out on track in that number 23 Ford Mustang. He will be 10th on the circuit. And here comes MacArthur up the inside line of Hill to take over the race lead. But he's got traffic ahead of him as well. Now the gentleman's rule is hop out of the way if you can of the race leaders. But if you've got your own race going on, that kind of gets thrown out the window. So your race leader, Dwayne MacArthur, has a 30-second advantage over Robinson, who I would expect to possibly click off a record-breaking lap here. Right now, the fastest lap of the race, a 30.15, owned by your current race leader, Dwayne MacArthur. As behind him, Hess, Jones, Hill, still duking it out for those final podium spots. To be interesting. MacArthur pulls about a 1 second gap over Hess. Hess still has Jones right behind him. And it's never too late for a late race caution to throw a wrench into a whole lot of drivers' plans here. Now, one driver I don't think who would mind a caution would be Robinson. Hess and Jones still fairly linked up here together. MacArthur 3/4 of a second ahead. But the laps rapidly clicking off as MacArthur still slicing through traffic. Less than 30 laps left to go here at Darlington. MacArthur still holding that 9/10 advantage over Hess and Jones, who I believe are a little bit tied up tree. You see traffic very quickly hopping down the low line in the back stretch to help everybody get through this nice and clean. We have not had a caution so far yet this race. And nobody wants to be the cause of the first one late into the evening. MacArthur, your race leader, has pulled his gap to 1.2 seconds now over Hess and Jones, who weren't quite able to facilitate those passes through traffic as quickly as they would like. Plus, that combined with Jones just absolutely keeping the pressure on the 54 machine. Hess wants nothing more than a podium tonight. Because again, it's been all the way back since the season opener at Daytona was the last time we saw Hess up on the podium with us. But I think Eddie Jones may have other ideas than the number 14 machine. Jones, third in points. Robinson, your race leader, first in points. Excuse me, second in points. I'm all sorts of messed up here. Dwayne MacArthur, your race leader, is leading the points and looking to extend that gap. Jones, third on track, third in points. Hess, though, has some ground to make up. He's second in points, so if he can make something happen here, bringing home a top two, that's going to help reel in those top guys a little bit faster. But we are still watching. MacArthur holds just a 1 second gap over Hess and Jones. Hess has had pressure from Jones the last 20 or so odd laps. As you can see, all the top three briefly in the same frame. Now all three of these drivers had the same strategy. Everybody came down pit road on lap 106 for MacArthur and Hess. Jones has one lap fresher tires underneath them after a lap 107 pit stop. 20 laps left to go. And they're fairly stretched out, a second and a half separating the top three here. MacArthur has a 1 second advantage over Hess. Hess just a half second advantage over Jones. Will we see any big movers here? As these top three on their own zip code, they're about 5 seconds up over Dan Hill and Ford, who to his credit tried something miraculous with a lap 90 undercut to stretch it all the way out to the end. We got Jack Mundy to tune in as well, today's main event, saying good afternoon, race fans. But Jones has closed the gap once more to Hess. Everybody running inside the top three, almost identical lap times for the most part in their 31.2 second range. Let's see if Jones going to be able to catch up to the 54 of Hess and make it a battle for second as MacArthur starts to stretch his legs even further, 1.4 seconds. But look at the traffic MacArthur's going to have to cut through here. Laps rapidly clicking off if we're going to see any big moves. Right now the closest battle on track is for second between Hess and Jones. Jones just stalking the 54 machine here, staying tucked in behind him. But I can't wait to see what's going to happen to MacArthur trying to cut through traffic. We see about a 4 or 5 car pack ahead of him. 15 laps left to go as your race leader cuts through 1 and 2. Way up high, dancing against that wall. Traffic hopping out of the way for the race leader. MacArthur using that draft from every car he possibly can. Oh, MacArthur tags the wall slightly. Traffic even more so. As MacArthur works his way around the number 46 machine of Kent Huff. Huff running 13th on track, still up 6 spots from where he started, so a pretty good night, all things considered. Now MacArthur is our hard charger, up 10 spots. I'm wondering if that dismal qualifying we saw, if he can win this, he'll try and maybe say that was strategy to score some extra points. That's what I would say if I was out on track. MacArthur has pulled just about a 2-second gap over Hess and Jones, and Hess has a little bit chance of a break. He's put about 3/4 of a second on Jones in third. Not a lot of laps left to make anything happen. We've got a little bit of action going on further back in the field, but we've only got 10 drivers on the lead lap here. Again, I got to give credit to Dan Hill, the number 10 machine, holding on to that 4th place spot despite being on much older tires than just about anybody out on track here. We're going to get the camera focused over on Hill, the number 10 machine, the Air Force back Chevrolet. Looks like that may be Bruce Pearson behind him, number 22 Ford Mustang. But Hill qualified 4th, tried something different on strategy, and it's not going great for the number 10, but it's also not biting him too bad either. Holding on to that track position, he's got about a 9-second advantage over Ogle on the number 11 Ford Mustang. I've got to say, I'm very surprised to see that strategy working out so well. As your top 3 thoroughly stretched out at this point. Right as I say that, Dan Hill has a big blink. I may have hit him with the commentator's curse, as he's blinking ferociously in 4th place. Hopefully he gets that under control after we were just bragging on him. Your top 3 very stretched out. MacArthur 1.8 seconds ahead of Hess. Hess 1.4 ahead of Jones. And now 3 seconds and climbing, separating your top 3 drivers in the closing laps here at Darlington. MacArthur has it'll be 5 laps left to go here at the line. He's built up a very comfortable margin over Hess, now 1.6 seconds from the 54 machine. Hess has to be ecstatic to be back in the podium contention. It's been a bit of a dry spell for that 54 Chevrolet. Speaking of manufacturers, Chevrolet currently your top 4. MacArthur, Hess, Jones, Hill. You have to go back to 5th place. Tom Ogle is going to be our fastest Ford out on track. And speaking of Fords, that's the man, the myth, the legend himself, Patrick Milligan, the number 18 machine, running 10th. Looks like he's about to go a lap down to MacArthur. But just 4 laps left to go. If there's ever a time in his career, MacArthur hoping we can run it green out till the end. Now is the moment. He's had great long run pace. Milligan hops out of the way of MacArthur. Well done. And MacArthur also our hardest charger out on track, up 10 spots. Hess has closed the gap to 1.2 seconds, but it may be too little too late. It's going to be 2 laps left to go this time by. Last time by, Hess was about 0.15 of a second faster, but he's got to find some pace or find some luck here if he wants to make anything happen against MacArthur. 2 laps left to go here at Darlington for the Metro Ford Cup Series. White flag will be out this time by. Hess has closed the gap to just about a second behind your race leader. He is charging hard in the 54 machine, but it's going to be tough to close that 1 second gap now for the first time in a while, under a second. Here comes Hess through 1 and 2, gaining another 1/10 of a second. Will he have anything left as they charge down the backstretch? There's MacArthur, there's Hess on the right side. 9/10 separating the two. MacArthur's going to have a little bit of traffic ahead of him. That could bode well for Hess, but I think MacArthur's going to have it here. Hess just not enough time. And Dwayne MacArthur wins it here at Darlington. Andrew Hess brings home a second, and Eddie Cajun Jones rounds out the top 3. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen, 160 laps at Darlington, green all the way through. That's what we love to see as your top 3 line up for their post-race pictures. And MacArthur burns it down in style in the 83 machine. A very well-deserved celebratory moment. We're going to start getting our top 3 up here into the waiting room. Up first, we've got Eddie Jones bringing home the 3rd place spot, the number 14 machine. Eddie, what great, clean racing we had out there this evening.
It was a lot of fun. Tried to stay patient and wait, and I got in the dang wall there with about 45, 50 to go, changed the car all up, and it just wouldn't turn.
Now, Eddie, did you come into tonight planning on green flag runs, or were you expecting a little bit more carnage here at Darlington?
Yeah, we usually run pretty clean here. If we do have cautions, they're usually early and then get them out of the way. But yeah, I was looking for long green flag runs.
Well, good to see you back out there, always running strong, the number 14 machine. And we know everybody's got plans for the evening, so who do you want to give a quick shout out to? Friends, family, sponsors that helped you get up here in that third place spot.
Just my teammates. We bounce a lot of ideas off each other and all that. And all that. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there.
You as well, Eddie. Always a good time talking to you, and congratulations on third.
Thank you, bud.
Thank you, sir. That was Eddie Jones bringing home a third. Up next, we've got Andrew Hess. Hess, it's been a while, my friend, but good to have you back up here inside the top 3.
Yeah, I don't know what this place is anymore. Is this good?
This is good. Yes, this is high fives all the way around. White Claws provided by Tom Ogle. All in all, a good day. And Hess, it's been all the way back since the season opener, where you also finished as second. And it's been since June last year that you picked up a win, but it looks like you're getting faster and faster and more consistent as the races and the season goes on here.
That hurts to bring up all those stats. But yes,
that's what I do here. I read a notebook and I talk a lot.
Yeah, it's been a long time to get some good luck in the Cup Series and track position. Seems like it's pretty big this year with the aero package.
Now, is that part of it? Is coming to grips with the new car and just kind of it being totally different from what we land last year, or is it just the talent pool's also getting deeper as well?
So you probably got a little of both. Everyone's still learning a new car. I think we were actually talking in practice about like some of the other cars. When you turn into a turn, how much wheel you got in, and when you're burning the tires up in this new car, it's just so numb that I don't know the limit yet on where I need to be.
That's probably the best way I've heard this package described as numb, especially when it first came out, just no feedback, and then we ran into the stage where it was snapped loose out of nowhere, and now still just, I guess it's best described as not a lot of life in the car. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, it's we were kind of joking at the end of the race about touching the apron and how you can't run the normal line just because with being sealed on the ground, that platform needs to be at a certain level for downforce, and once you kind of irritate that by say crossing the line and getting off the banking, then the car just kind of wants to snap and there's just no grip.
Well said, Andrew. It's been a great time. It's good to have you back up here, my friend, and glad you're getting things dialed in, and hope to see you back up here more often. It's always a great time talking to you. Who do you want to give a quick shout out to? Friends, family, sponsors that helped to make this evening possible.
I'll definitely got to say thank you to all the mothers out there for Mother's Day, and then the job you do every week, giving us a little entertainment, and then Patrick for sponsoring.
Awesome. Well said, Andrew. Congrats as always, my friend. I hope to have you back up here in the near future.
Yes, sir. We'll see you.
That was Andrew Hess bringing home the second. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, the fast Canadian, Dwayne MacArthur. Welcome back to the top spot of Victory Lane, my friend.
Thanks, James. I missed having... Oh, you got me?
I got you. You got me.
Yeah, no thanks. I missed having chats with you after the race. It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been back since Chicago. Now, I know after that race, there's a bunch of tracks you were just not at all enthused about. Richmond, Martinsville, Bristol, dirt. And we all know Talladega is kind of a gamble, but are you starting to get back to the point where you're running some tracks that you feel at home at, or what is it that's getting you back up here in the top spot?
Yeah, I'm glad that Richmond and Martinsville are over. I would have liked to talk to you after Bristol dirt, but maybe even at Dover last week, but had a mental challenge in the race last week. So really, really love this track. I was really excited to come here. I think it's the best track we run on. So happy it all worked out.
Now, with it all working out, Dwayne, we didn't see the normal qualifying out of you in the 83 machine. Was that strategy to bring home bonus points, or was that a lot of terrible luck there?
All in qualifying and didn't count my lap, obviously. So started a lot deep. I would have really liked to have started a little further up. It was had to get creative on the first pit stop, come in a little early to do a little leapfrog, and then had to kind of get creative on the second stop too. So it was a lot of work, and it takes a lot of patience here to come through because it's very hard to pass. So would have been nicer to start, fourth, fifth, sixth even, but happy how it worked out.
Yeah, good night all the way around. Still going to extend that points gap over Robinson and Jones, who Jones finished up on the podium tonight as well, so he may be able to gain a little bit of ground. And got to be happy when you start to see more and more of the teammates join you up here in the top 3.
Oh yeah, my teammates are deadly racers. They're really good at what they do, and I expected to have to battle Eddie there at the end if I was still up front at the end. So I mean, even Steve was in the field. He runs great here, and a lot of good guys in this league, to be honest. So, but good to see 2 last ditch racing cars in there, sandwiched around a Miata. So.
Couldn't ask for more. Well, Dwayne, great job tonight, up 10 spots, finishing the very top of the podium. And you've got the privilege, the distinction, my friend, of the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout to that helped you in the 83 machine make it happen?
Yeah, just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Metro Ford Chicago, emetroford.com. Check them out. And big thanks to Patrick Milligan. Our other sponsors, victorylanesports.com and kimball.net. Really couldn't do it without our sponsors and everybody else in the league that shows up and helps keep us going and having these fields, and just everybody all around. It was it's a great place to race and a great group of guys, so thanks to everyone.
Awesome. Dwayne, congratulations, my friend. Good to have you back in the top spot, and hope to see that momentum carried forward in the very near future.
That would be great. Thanks, James.
Thank you, sir. And that was Dwayne MacArthur finishing the top spot after a green flag racing here at Darlington. Andrew Hess, Eddie Jones rounding out the podium. And as always, on behalf of the Metro Ford Cup Series here at the Old Bastards Racing League, my name's James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for spending your early half of the Mother's Day with us, and we will see you at the next one. Have a great day, everybody.